These are the most important augments you must unlock in Black Ops 6 Zombies, especially if you're camo grinding. I would highly recommend starting off with the Perca-Colas. Don't even bother on the ammo mods or the field upgrades just yet. Start off with the Perca-Colas. Now, obviously, let's start off with Juggernog, and I do see a lot of people running this major augment that increases your maximum health to 300, but if you are camo grinding, I do actually think there are better augments, being reactive armor. So obviously immediately get probiotic. I would say this is probably the most important augment in all of Black Ops 6 Zombies. And then the best minor augment I'd say for Juggernog is also your armor plates having more damage mitigation. The Mangler spam and their cannons just do so much damage. You want your armor plates to be good. And reactive armor actually stuns the enemies. So if you are making sure that you're going for critical kills, reactive armor is definitely going to be your play. Now let's talk about Stamin-up, because I think Stamin-up's augments are kind of weak. They're not really that great, but in my opinion, the best are the couple last ones that you get, being Dasher, which increases the tactical sprint duration, so allows you to just instantly run away, and then also Hotfoot, which gives you a massive speed boost after your equipment takes out the enemy. Now, the thing with Stamin-up is Free Faller, I would say, is pretty good. It's just the first one you unlock. Get that. It helps you out with the immunity to fall damage in maps like Terminus when you're jumping off the ledge into the water, or on Liberty Falls when you're jumping off from where the zip lines are. But honestly, Dasher is definitely more important. Stalker's all right for camo grinding, but honestly, you need to run fast sometimes away from like abominations and amalgams. So I would say that is the best. And then obviously for the best minor one, I was running hard target, but the issue is while you're tactical sprinting with this, projectile damage is reduced, but you're not often getting hit when you're tactical sprinting. That's why I think this one kind of sucks, and most of the augments for Stamin-up are not bad, which is why I'd recommend Dasher and Hotfoot, because I meant to say that most of them are just trash. So let's get into this next one here. Speed Cola. Speed Cola, I'm going to be honest, the greatest augments they added in this are way better than anything Black Ops Cold War did with it. The best one, hands down, is Classic Formula. This brings your speed reload percentage from 35% all the way up to 50%, which is what it was back in the OG zombie games. And then for your minor augments, I would honestly either recommend Quick Swap if you're going for high rounds, but honestly, if you are going for camo challenges, Fast Pitcher is definitely the best one, because you can just throw monkey bombs faster, throw concussions faster, throw Casimirs faster. It's just way more important, in my opinion, than just swapping your weapons faster. In my opinion, weapon swapping is already fast enough, so you really don't have to worry about that. So for Deadshot Daiquiri now, Deadshot, we have a couple of really strong augments, but in my opinion, if you're going for the camo grind, the best ones you're really going to want to make sure that you're going for are Dead First. This deals double critical damage if the enemy is at full health, and also you're going to want to make sure that you just instantly run Dead Break. The increased damage to armor pieces, like I said, armored enemies in this game are way too overpowered, which is why, like, Dead Draw, reduce hip fire spread, who cares? Most of the time you have to aim in and get critical kills. Now, Deadhead I would not recommend, because this only increases your critical damage by 5%. So make sure you're running Dead First. And if you are doing the infinite ammo strategy, you're obviously going to want to run Dead again. But honestly, I think this one's going to get patched. Dead First is going to be your better strategy. Quick Revive is kind of like Stamin-up to me, where the augments aren't really that great, especially if you're playing solo. But I would recommend the very first minor augment being Swift Recovery. Reviving an ally increases both of your movement speed. The movement speed buff you get from this, and also the Stamin-up buff, is so ridiculous. It's just the best thing you want to run. And then, honestly, I think the major augment is kind of tied between the two, being Dying Wish, which I actually think is really good. Again, it removes your Quick Revive if you are about to die, and then literally just keeps you alive. Or you can run the self-medication type of augment, but the thing is it gives you a pistol, and so anytime you try and use this past like round 15, you're going to get cooked. You're not going to be able to revive yourself, which is why ultimately I do think Dying Wish is the best, and EMT is just completely useless. A lot of these ones are just completely useless. Now, For Elemental Pop, I haven't actually unlocked the best one, obviously being Electric Cherry. We saw this back in Black Ops Cold War. It's so overpowered, but honestly, if you are going for the camo grind, the measure I would actually recommend is the enemies that hit you have a chance to trigger a random ammo mod or Citrus Focus. This one I like because if you're running Cryo Freeze, which is very weak, you can actually slow down the enemies and stun them and then go for the critical kill. So I would honestly highly recommend this one. When you get hit, it just takes out a lot of enemies. So again, for high rounds, probably Imperil Peach. But in my opinion, the best minor augment is still Vulnerabine, which increases the enemy elemental weakness damage. This is amazing for elite enemies. The reducing all ammo mod cooldowns doesn't really have a significant boost, which is why I'd recommend those two. But obviously, Electric Cherry is your go-to. Now for PhD is one of the best perks in Black Ops 6, especially because these augments are absolutely amazing. And in my opinion, you unlock the best augments for PhD right at the end, being PhD Slider, which slides into enemies triggering explosions, and also Tribologist, which sliding distance and speed are increased. When you use this in-game, it is so noticeable. It's just like the Black Ops Cold War PhD. You literally fly through the enemies. And honestly, I don't recommend the other two. Dr. Ram, I don't find works that often where you knock down enemies. And honestly, if you're trying to run into a horde of zombies, most of the time, you're just going to get cornered and it's not going to work. Gravity MD, just falling from heights creates explosions. It's all right, but honestly, PhD Slider is what gives you that speed, and then Tribolist just as well also just makes it absolutely crazy. And then lastly, for Melee Macchiato, this perk is really good. Obviously, I see a lot of people just using it for the fist, but for the main purpose of why people are going to be using this, it's going to be to rank up your knives. And so the best ones to rank up your knives, in my honest opinion, are going to be Hidden Impact, which reloads a portion of your held weapon. You can also use this for an infinite ammo strategy. I do see a lot of people using Backpedal as well. That's not too bad as well. And Espresso as well aren't too bad as well, because again, if you're going for the fast melee hits, it's pretty good. But again, I think the best two are Vampiric Extraction, constantly healing a bit of your health. That was a little field research back in Black Ops Cold War, and it was so strong. So honestly, Vampiric Extraction and Hidden Impact, I would say, are the two best. So once you have done all of the Perca-Colas on the augments, then I would recommend going into your field upgrades. And honestly, the two you really want to focus on, you can see I have nothing unlocked for Aether Shroud because I think it's mainly for speed runs and boss fights and Easter eggs and whatnot. If you're solely going for the camo grind, Frenzy Guard is literally all you're going to need. This is the best field upgrade. It practically makes you invincible, so you can constantly focus on getting the critical kills. And what I'd actually recommend for Frenzy Guard here is Retribution, because as soon as you activate it, it instantly causes an explosion and allows you to focus on the headshots. Or also Frenzy Fire, which allows you, just like Ring of Fire, to use ammo from your stock. This one is not bad as well, but honestly, the best minor augment for this one would be the increasing of the Frenzy Guard detonation and duration. And then lastly, if you are playing co-op, then I would also recommend Healing Aura. I don't find Dark Flare or Aether Shroud are that good. Aether Shroud is good, like I said, in particular moments. Dark Flare is trash. Do that one last. And Energy Mine is all right, but the thing is that I think it's just better just to start off with, obviously, just to grind and get that high level. But again, for camo grinding, you're going to want Healing Aura and Frenzy Guard. And for Healing Aura, I definitely recommend trying Resilience, which gives you a lot more health regen, and also the minor augment, which gives you a little bit more damage. So again, these are very good field upgrades. And then lastly, for the ammo mods, you really just need to focus on two if you're camo grinding. The first one being Cryo Freeze. This is going to be the best one just for zombies, because what you're able to do is it's very weak, and so what you're able to do is just fully freeze the zombies and get that like a headshot critical kill multiplier for you. And so for Cryo Freeze, I would definitely just recommend Ice Cloud. It gets so many of the zombies trapped into it, and then then they get frozen in there. And then also liquid nitrogen, which increases your chance for cryo freeze to happen. It is so strong once you're running those two. And then lastly, for the elite damage, I'd actually personally recommend Napalm Burst, because Napalm Burst can do so much damage against the elites. And for guns like the HE1 or anything like the melee weapons, you're going to want to be able to do more elite damage. And so for the augments, I'd recommend for that would honestly be Big Game, where the Napalm Burst can burn elite enemies, or Thermite. But honestly, again, I recommend Napalm Burst just for elite enemies. And then lastly would be Contact Burn, where the initial burn effect deals more damage. And then with that, you're able to get your critical kills, your kills, or whatever you need for your challenges with these ammo mods still equipped. Obviously, Elemental Pop, you have to be wary because you don't want this taking away from your critical challenges, which is why I would definitely recommend Citrus Focus or Electric Cherry. Imperial Peach, I would say, like I said, is more for high rounds. And then lastly, Vulnerable Bean for your minor augment.